While ZDT's amusement park most certainly is not the biggest amusement park in Texas or the most notable, they are home to a pretty notable coaster in Switchback. This was the world's first shuttle wooden coaster and was built by the Gravity Group. This 2015 edition brought a lot of eyeballs to ZDTs that probably wouldn't have been brought there otherwise, and it was a coaster I was really hoping to ride one day, but unfortunately, that looks like it won't be happening, because ZDT's amusement park will be closing permanently at the end of the 2025 season. More specifically, this park will close exactly a month from now, on August 17th, 2025. So, if you want to ride Switchback, which from all accounts is worth doing, you have a month to do it. This park is absolutely tiny. Switchback is really the only notable attraction here for a coaster enthusiast. They also have a couple of flat rides, some go-karts, some arcade games, and even some water slides. They really did offer a little bit of everything, and if you were a local, I could definitely see you spending 3 to 5 hours here on a Saturday afternoon. This park originally opened in 2007. Sarah and Danny Donhauser opened the theme park, with the park named after their 3 children, Zach, Danielle, and Tiffany, i.e. ZDTs. The park had some great additions, including some of those aforementioned attractions that I mentioned earlier, but the main draw here was definitely the Gravity Group wooden coaster Switchback. Despite fitting onto an absolutely minuscule plot of land and only having 1,196 feet of track, Gravity Group and ZDTs somehow made a really cool ride out of this. In a lot of ways, it really is an engineering marvel, but because of that backward section after the spike and a switch track, they were able to make it work and have some really unique near misses. This is the main reason why a lot of coaster enthusiasts will be sad to see this park go. Now, will Switchback find a new home? It's not quite as simple as we're talking about some of the other Six Flags parks closing, which we will get to a little bit at the end of the video. They can't exactly just relocate it to another theme park in their chain. That's not really a factor here. But Switchback is certainly a ride of enough quality that someone might want to scoop it up. Could a Six Flags park scoop it up? I mean, it's possible, but I would actually be more inclined to believe that a family park would scoop it up. I imagine it would be relatively inexpensive to buy this from them, and it fits on a really tiny plot of land. So is it possible that Switchback gets relocated? Yeah, I think so, but is it likely? I'm not willing to go that far quite yet. The other factor here to consider is that this coaster was constructed for a very specific plot of land. All of the buildings that this ride wraps around and under are certainly a factor in the construction and deconstruction of this ride. I'm not going to pretend to understand all of the engineering specificities of relocating a wooden coaster like this though, but I imagine it could be difficult. The reasons for closing this park were not really put in the social media posts that ZDTs put out. However, on the Seguin Gazette, a local newspaper, in an interview with the owners, they did cite low attendance, rising costs, and a desire to spend more time with their children and grandchildren. Sarah, again one of the owners, said, quote, "It has become very clear that the park is no longer sustainable. We had to make the difficult decision to close at the end of the summer." ZDT's is just the latest theme park to announce its closure. Obviously, in America alone, we have a couple other much larger parks that are going to be closing within the near future. Six Flags America is going to be closing this November. That was announced earlier in the year, and that park is obviously much bigger than ZDT's, with some roller coasters that very well might get relocated to other parks in the Six Flags chain. Then, while California's Great America isn't closing in the 2025 season, they could close as early as 2027. We're not going to get into all the specificities of Great America and when that park could close. That's a conversation for another video, but depending on what Six Flags does with the lease that they're currently operating under, it could go as long as 2033. To be honest though, I think 2027 is much more likely. The point is, this is starting to become more of a common theme parks having to close their gates. As theme park and coaster enthusiasts, this is not a trend that we like to see. ZDTs falls under a different category than some of those other parks, but the facts still remain. And so, at the end of the day, if you find yourself in Texas for another Texas theme park, or any reason within the next month, make sure you go up to Seguin and try to give this park a visit. And if you're not able to get there by August 17th, unfortunately, it'll be too late. So there you have it, ZDT's amusement park is officially closing in mid-August of 2025. Let me know your thoughts on this park closure, or the closures of Six Flags America and California's Great America. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.